What's going on, guys? Welcome to Full Send SRT. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day today. Today we're going to be going over if you are better off supercharging your Jeep Grand Cherokee SRT or if you are better off just grabbing a Grand Cherokee Trackhawk. Now in today's video we're going to go over all the pros and cons of supercharging a Grand Cherokee SRT in opposition to just grabbing yourself a Grand Cherokee Trackhawk. Now, if you guys haven't already, make sure to subscribe to the channel, guys. Hit that bell notification. I'm actually going to be on my way to Acceleration Auto Parts and Performance to get my Trackhawk fully straight piped tomorrow, so you're not going to want to miss that, guys. That's right, we're going to have zero mufflers on this Grand Cherokee Trackhawk. I decided to go that way as opposed to getting an exhaust because the straight pipe is only around $1,000 for full stainless steel, as opposed to the GT Haas exhaust, which sounds insane. I know the GT Haas exhaust sounds absolutely bonkers, but I didn't really want to shell out the $3,000 or $4,000 for a titanium exhaust before seeing how a fully straight piped stainless steel exhaust would be on the Grand Cherokee Trackhawk. Look, you're not going to want to miss that, guys. We also have some big upgrades coming to the Trackhawk very soon. Shit. And I'm actually going to be leaving for Mexico next month, just to get on a little vacation. Then while I'm in Mexico, I'm gonna be leaving my Trackhawk at the shop and we're gonna get some crazy mods done to it as well. Well, guys, let's not waste any more time. Let me start up the whip here. Let me just set up my camera to get the cold start. Alright guys, so let's talk supercharged Jeep SRT as opposed to just buying a Trackhawk. So when it comes to the engines on these vehicles, the Trackhawk has the 6.2 liter supercharged V8 Hemi from the previous Hellcat models. You know, from the Dodge Challenger, the Dodge Charger, Hellcat, it's the same engine. Now the Trackhawk's gonna make you 707 horsepower to the crank, and the Jeep Grand Cherokee SRT is gonna make you 475 horsepower to the crank as well, but naturally aspirated. And naturally aspirated means no supercharger and no turbos helping it. It's just the engine producing that power. Now I've heard a lot of people talk about and assume that the Grand Cherokee Trackhawk is just an SRT with the supercharger, which it's completely not. They are two completely separate engines, and the Trackhawk's Hellcat is actually smaller than the 6.4. And now a lot of you are probably wondering, why didn't Jeep just supercharge the 6.4? And there's a reason for that. So 6.4 is obviously bigger than 6.2. And that 6.4 engine is stuffed underneath that SRT hood bonnet. Like guys, I had a 2018 Grand Cherokee SRT and there was absolutely no room underneath that hood. Now don't get me wrong, people supercharge their SRTs, but there are some big downsides to doing that as opposed to buying the Trackhawk. So let's say you want to make your Jeep Grand Cherokee SRT a little bit like a Trackhawk, you want to supercharge it. Should you or should you not? So if you want to make your Grand Cherokee SRT similar to the Trackhawk, you're going to want to probably have the newer body style of SRT, that being a 2017 plus, the WK2 facelift, because that is what the Trackhawk is based upon as well. So let's say you have a 2018 Grand Cherokee SRT like I did. I got it for around $70,000 and I paid about $103 for my Trackhawk. So there's about a $30,000 price difference there, and a lot of people think you're just paying that just to get that Hellcat engine, which you're not. Now there are a bunch of other performance parts helping out this Trackhawk produce and hold this much power. One of the most obvious things is the size of the brakes in the Trackhawk and the size of the brakes in the SRT. The Trackhawk's going to have upgraded Brembos over the SRTs, being a little bit bigger. Now of course you're going to need that extra stopping power because you have over 200 horsepower upgrade from the SRT. So right there, you're probably going to want upgraded brakes if you're going to upgrade your SRT. So as soon as we mention upgrading your SRT to the likes of the Trackhawk, you're already talking about replacing the brakes as well. But let's not get off topic here, guys. Let's focus on the supercharger. Now, How much does a supercharger cost? Well, a Magnuson supercharger, or a decent reputable brand for upgrading your SRT for the supercharger, is going to be around $5,000 to $7,000. Now this is $5,000 to $7,000 without the install, just for the supercharger alone. Now, whether you are upgrading your supercharger by yourself or you're paying a shop to do it, that is probably going to be a $2,000 to $4,000 drop, depending on who you go with and what connections you have. So right there, from the supercharger to the install, is going to be right around that $10,000 price point. Okay, so let's say you slapped your supercharger on your Jeep Grand Cherokee SRT. Are you good to go? You're not, because the Jeep SRT is not designed from factory to handle over 700 horsepower. It's designed, honestly, to handle right around that 500 point. Now, the shop won't let you take your Jeep Grand Cherokee SRT with just the supercharger put on. You're gonna now have to upgrade tons of other parts on this vehicle, such as the injectors. You're gonna have to upgrade the brakes. You're gonna want a new transmission that can handle that 700 horsepower that the Trackhawk honestly already has. Stock, the Trackhawk can handle up to about 900 crank horsepower. There's also a ton of forged parts in the Trackhawk's Hellcat engine that allows it to hold that much power. So once you get your new injectors, I think you might need a new throttle body for the SRT. You're gonna need a new transmission to handle the power, and a bunch of small parts here and there. You're gonna be upwards of $20,000 without the install, and probably right around $25,000 to $30,000 with install. So with time and labor and parts and whatnot, you're at $30,000 into install and parts, and you paid $70,000 for your SRT. So right now you're at $100,000, and sure, you might have a built SRT, but you could have been at the exact same point if you were to just buy a Trackhawk. Now, another reason why you're way better off buying a Trackhawk is because of limited availability. These Trackhawks have stopped being produced, and so have the Jeep SRTs, but it's much harder to find a Jeep Grand Cherokee Trackhawk because of how limited the production was. I've only seen a couple other in my life. So in 5 years from now, your SRT is gonna be a dime a dozen because they produced so many. They are really great sellers, but I'm not sure why they're not making them for 2022, but the Trackhawk was even more limited. Now guys, if you upgrade your SRT to have the supercharger and the 700 horsepower, like I said, you probably have a 2017, 2018, 2019 SRT, and something breaks and you go to take it to the dealership, nothing will be warranted. I still have factory warranty on my Trackhawk for the next 2 or 3 years. It had the extended warranty. So if anything goes, I get a free replacement from the dealer, as opposed to if I sunk 30 grand into my SRT, they would tell me to pay for it or get out. Now guys, let's say you go to sell your Grand Cherokee SRT after you put the supercharger on it and you've done all those mods and you have 100,000 into the vehicle, and you can still buy a Trackhawk for 100,000. When someone's looking for a vehicle, do you think they're gonna pay anywhere close to 100K for your SRT when they can just go and get the Trackhawk? There is no doubt in my mind that no one would buy your vehicle for even close to as much money as you paid for it, or sorry, as you put into it. Let's say you buy the Trackhawk for 100 and you go to sell it for 100, you're gonna get it. And honestly guys, when I had my 2018 Grand Cherokee SRT, I was thinking, you know what man, I should stay with my SRT, just supercharge it. I already went through the hassle of having to buy the vehicle. I don't want to have to sell it then go and buy a Trackhawk. But it was honestly worth it, because if I did that stuff to my SRT, it would have been so undesirable, because when people are buying aftermarket vehicles that have those kinds of mods done to it, and you know people bag SRTs, man. Like you know people absolutely just like rip on them. So they're gonna see those mods and they're gonna be like, what the hell did this guy do to it? Where did he get it done? How was the job done? Can I really trust this guy? And I wouldn't trust anyone buying an aftermarket SRT with performance parts on it. But guys, if you're getting the supercharger just for your own sake and you never plan on selling your SRT, go ahead, by all means do it. But I would just hate to void that factory warranty and say something goes on the supercharger or the engine, that could be another $10,000. And then you were way better off just buying a Trackhawk, because now you're 110, 115 into your SRT, when you could have had a Trackhawk and just had, you know, factory warranty the whole time. Let's be honest guys, the Trackhawk is just cooler in general. I don't think we have to debate that. But guys, if we're comparing just SRT to Trackhawk, stock versus stock, Trackhawk's obviously going to be faster, but if you don't really need all that power and you don't care about how rare the Trackhawk is, I honestly say just go for the SRT, because that's going to be a better bang for your buck. You know, 100 to 110,000 for this Jeep Grand Cherokee Trackhawk is honestly quite a bit of cash for a Chrysler product. 100% worth it in my mind, but if you're not a hardcore fan, go for the SRT. Plenty of power. You got your, oh, what is this here? Is this an SRT? Yeah, it's an SRT. Nice. They look sick, man. Like a black on black SRT, which was what I had. Honestly, it looked just as good as my stock Trackhawk. It won't be stock for much longer. Tomorrow we're getting some stuff done on it. Tomorrow we're getting some stuff done on it, and then we're gonna be dropping it, throwing some. I'm gonna save that for later. But I want you guys to stay tuned, because we have a hell of a lot coming up for this Trackhawk. And leave a comment down below what you want to see done to it, because I'm looking to spend a couple bucks on the Trackhawk, guys. So I want to do things that you want to see. So let me know what you want to see done on my Trackhawk, and I'm going to be sure to get it done. We're going to push more horsepower. We're going to have a sick wheel setup for next drag racing season. I'm obviously not going to be drag racing too much in the snow. And I'm scared to do drifts, man. I don't know. Should we drift the Trackhawk? Because I've seen some guys destroy the transfer cases. I know it's under warranty, but I just don't want to destroy my transfer case, so let me know. I'm also going to be doing a snow review of the Grand Cherokee Trackhawk. I have my studded tires on it already. I have the 20-inch Hakkapeliitta studded winter tires, Hakkapeliitta 9 studded SUV tires on this. They're on a 20-inch rim. They're 265s all around. They handle really good. But make sure you stay tuned, because I will do a winter review for that as well. But guys, if you enjoyed today's video, smash that like button. It really helps me out, guys, and it helps push my videos. This guy's just blowing a red light. Sure, you do you, bro. But guys, if you could like the video, that really helps me out. Like I was saying, it pushes my videos to new audiences, and I spend so many hours editing and recording these videos, guys. So if you would be able to hit that like button, it would help me out a ton. Turn on post notifications and all that jazz. But I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day. We'll see you in the next one. Full Send SRT signing off. Peace.